Sheck Wes officially facing life in prison.
So I'm Steph from 16 Bars, and I'm here sitting with the wonderful Sheck Wes. Sheck, welcome to Oberhausen.
Sheck Wes has been pretty quiet since releasing his debut studio album, Mud Boy. Although he's yet to drop another album, the New York rapper was able to make headlines as he now faces life in prison after being arrested in Harlem. Welcome to Lime Report. Before we begin, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the link in the description to enter a chance at winning our Apple product giveaway. Just 2 years ago, Sheck Wes was making as much noise as he could in the industry. The young rapper broke through to the mainstream after his hit song Mo Bamba went viral and took the world by storm in the summer of 2018. However, as the years have gone by, it seems as though the one-time heir apparent to the Cactus Jack throne has since dwindled in both fame and force, releasing new singles few and far between. Though Sheck has remained relatively quiet on the music scene, it looks like he's still been making noise in his hometown as he's now been arrested. Growing up in his hometown of Harlem, Sheck would often find himself getting into minor situations. When his parents realized, they decided to ship him off and fix his attitude without hesitation. Since then, Sheck Wes doesn't typically run into trouble with the law. The weight of his charges has some fans worried, as there may be a chance the Mo Bamba rapper could spend the rest of his days in prison. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Today, we'll be taking a closer look at the shocking arrest of Sheck Wes and the details surrounding his legal trouble. Don't go anywhere as we uncover the stunning reason why some believe the rapper may stand to lose it all. You won't want to miss any of this. The drama all began for the young star on Wednesday near his hometown in Harlem. According to reports, Sheck was hanging out in his old neighborhood with a few friends when everything went south for the rapper. Apparently, Sheck was showing off his new Lamborghini while with a few friends, and after making a few laps around his hood, he was then pulled over. Initially, Sheck was confused as to why he was stopped, but the officer soon revealed that the reason for the stop was because of his excessively tinted windows. While it's not often that someone is pulled over for their tint, the fact that Sheck was riding in a Lambo could have very easily influenced the officer's decision to pull the young star over. Once they had him pulled over, the authorities supposedly recognized the odor of marijuana coming from his car, which then prompted them to pull all occupants out of the vehicle and perform a search of the entire vehicle. Strangely enough, there have been no charges filed against the rapper for any drug possession, yet that's what the cops decided to make a big fuss about in the first place. The cops had finished ransacking the car, and just as it seemed they were done, things took a turn for the worse for Sheck, leading to his first official arrest since moving back to America. And while some believe that Sheck should be just fine, there are others who think that if he's not careful, this arrest could see Wes behind bars for life and his fading star finally diminish. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the shocking evidence that led to the arrest of the world-famous Sheck Wes exclusively on Lime Report. Sheck Wes's arrest came as an utter shock to most of his fans. Although the rapper is well known for his high-energy music and tendency to incite a riot, he remains relatively calm in real life. Having come from a rough neighborhood, Sheck was born witness to many atrocities that he can never unsee. Yet, unlike many troubled youths who turn to gangs and violence as a way out of their troubling circumstances, Sheck decided instead to focus on his multiple crafts, and in doing so, ensured he would be a star. Yet that's not to say the young rapper never breaks the rules, such as the excessively tinted windows, which New York State takes pretty serious for a multitude of reasons. On Wednesday, the 21-year-old rapper was pulled over with 3 friends in a 2019 Lamborghini Urus SUV for excessive window tint in Harlem early Wednesday morning, according to a Thursday report. When officers stopped Sheck Wes's vehicle, the car had a heavy smell of marijuana, which prompted a search by police. According to our sources, law enforcement say they found a loaded 9mm Smith & Wesson pistol in a bag on the passenger side of the vehicle. With the drugs and the gun found, a simple traffic stop that all started from over-tinted windows had quickly devolved into a multiple-feeling arrest. Sheck and his 3 passengers were each booked for 2 felonies, including criminal possession of a loaded firearm and criminal possession of a firearm. And while the amount of drugs the group had wasn't enough to slap on another felony charge, Sheck and his group were also cited for a misdemeanor possession of marijuana. Though they didn't find the gun on the rapper specifically, he was charged for the weapon due to the fact that he and his group were occupying his vehicle with a loaded gun. According to New York legal records obtained by Lime Report, Sheck Wes was apparently charged with 2 felonies in the encounter. Sheck was charged with both criminal possession of a weapon as well as criminal possession of a firearm in the 2nd degree, which means the gun was loaded. To make matters worse, Sheck was also driving around without a license, which led to another charge being put under his name. There hasn't been much information released since his arrest, which has led to some confusion among his fans, and now one question seems to loom in the open. Could these legal troubles spell the end of his career before Sheck even had a chance to flourish? Keep watching as we reveal the lengthy prison time Sheck could face should he lose in court, and the damage that could come to his reputation, as well as the rep of his supporters. In the aftermath, you won't want to miss any of this. In 2019, Sheck Wes stood to gain more ground in the rap game than anyone else. Having previously signed to 2 of the top names in the industry in Travis Scott and Kanye West, Sheck Wes seemed to have the backing of the most powerful men in music. Yet, rather than storming the charts once again, the rapper remained relatively quiet on his own front and instead was busy helping Scott to develop his first musical group, Jack Boys. Comprising himself as well as his Cactus Jack label mates, Wes and Co. dropped their first album as a group to much success. Yet when it comes to his own projects, aside from a few singles here and there, there's been nothing from the Harlem upstart. Perhaps he's working on more modeling gigs or is simply tired of the facade that must be thrown around in order to sell records. But whatever the case may be, Sheck seems mostly done with music. So when his name popped back up in the headlines, fans were momentarily thrilled. That is, until we all realized that our favorite ball of energy could end up spending the rest of his life in prison. Since being arrested, Sheck has already seen a judge and his court date is set for August of this year. Furthermore, he was even allowed to be released without bail. When reached by Lime Report, a representative for Sheck Wes shared the following statement that the rapper's attorney Scott E. Lehman gave to the public. This morning, Judge Moyne in the Manhattan Criminal Court released Sheck Wes on his own recognizance with no bail. His case was adjourned to August. During that period, we will conduct our own investigation into the charges. According to Sheck's lawyer, there may be a chance that the rapper could find his way out of the charges and escape prison time. Though he hasn't detailed their plan of action in full, we can be sure that Sheck and his legal team will do their best to fight the charges and keep the rapper out in the real world. Sheck Wes is an extremely unique case in the music industry. Although he comes from a very low place like many of the most talented artists that come from New York, the rapper has lived one of the most uncanny lives anyone has ever seen. Born to immigrant parents from Senegal, his interest in music began at the age of 11. Intrigued by the rhythms of African drums, Wes was inspired to create his own music. He grew up with a broad taste in music. Wes says, "I grew up listening to all types of music, from Seun Kuti to DMX and ODB." Wes initially set his sights on a career in basketball. Around the age of 13, he started to take basketball seriously, a decision he credits for making him more lenient in life and music. By the time he was 16, his hoop dreams were on the back burner. He signed with a New York modeling agency, and Sheck ultimately skipped a playoff game and performed in his first show a day later. Sheck Wes credits his hard and unprivileged childhood for shaping him into both the man and the artists that he's been proud to be today. Growing up in the hoods of Harlem, Wes was faced with many challenges and says that he essentially had to raise himself since both of his parents worked all day. He claims he stole to get by and skipped school often. His mother, displeased with his behavior, decided to send him to Africa for his wrongdoing, hoping that the hardships of his native land would help him to appreciate the life he was able to live in the United States. Africa was way harder than the US. Like, here we really have freedom, Wes says of his time abroad. After returning from Africa, Wes had a new perspective on life and decided to take music seriously. After releasing a few songs, he found success with his hit Mo Bamba, a song inspired by NBA draft pick and childhood friend Mohamed Bamba. Wes wrote the song during a time when several record labels were in a bidding war to sign him to a contract, an experience he found similar to what Bamba went through as a professional basketball player. After catching the attention of several top artists such as Travis Scott, Kanye West, and Drake, he was finally able to sign to both Cactus Jack Records and Good Music in a joint venture under Interscope Records. Wes's debut album, Mudboy, highlights his various trials and tribulations, as well as his hurdles navigating the music industry. While he hasn't been as active in the music industry since the release of his debut project, the rapper was able to prove the importance of ever-changing worldviews in the musical industry. Despite the fact that he was surrounded by industry clones and could have very well taken the same route, Wes decided instead to give the world something much more authentic and was able to produce a timeless classic as his freshman album. While Sheck Wes's future is a bit uncertain at the moment thanks to his looming legal troubles, fans can be sure that in spite of the roadblock, Sheck will continue to blaze a path for immigrants in the musical industry like no one before has seen. What do you think will happen to Sheck Wes? Will he be able to beat his charges? Or will he fall victim to the prison system and see his star fade before he has the real chance to shine? Thanks for joining us on Lime Report, everyone. Before you go, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the link in the description to enter a chance at winning our Apple product giveaway.